lady who walks around without being shady, who knows her values, who's gone through trials. Her smiles are captured from mouth to mouth. It's not the size of her thighs she worries about, but the pride she thrives to keep that drive. That cinnamon twist. That cinnamon twist. That cinnamon twist. Ladies, can you feel me? That cinnamon twist. That cinnamon twist. That cinnamon twist. Ladies, can you hear me?
Hey, this is Your Girl Tasha, known to the world as Latasha Carpenter, but everybody calls me Your Girl Tasha because when you are hanging with me, what? It is like you are hanging with your girl. And you guys know what my favorite word is. It is BAM, because I'm always being authentically me. And today, hanging in the studio, guys, I'm proud to present to you Mr. Tayvon Jackson.
How's everybody doing? Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Yes, he is here to help us with understanding things that deal with retirement and other kind of financial questions. So just go ahead and tell the people a little bit about you, what kind of credentials you actually bring to the table, because
Sure.
Of course, if you're talking to my viewers, they want to know that you're somebody they should be listening to.
Well, I'm gonna give them the life stories.
All right, give it to them.
I've been a financial advisor for 6 years. I graduated from a college called Mount St. Mary's University. Triple majored in math, accounting, and computer science. And I got into the industry because I used to play college basketball, but I wasn't good enough to make it professionally. So I decided that I would actually be the person to help invest a lot of basketball players' money, because, a lot of them blow their money on things they shouldn't be spending it on. So been a financial advisor for a while now. I have a few credentials. I'm a financial education coach. I'm a chartered retirement plan counselor, so that means I specialize in retirement planning. And I'm just happy to be here. I'm excited.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
All right. I think that he's somebody that we should be listening to, right? Now, I know what something that's a little bit funny here is, guys, is y'all know that usually I tell my guests to send me a few questions that they like to be considered for the interview, right? But Your Girl Tasha, I always got to have my own things. It's not guaranteed they're going to get the questions that they sent me, because when we come into your office, you want to know what we're going to be asking you then.
Exactly.
So, we have to test you out to see how good you are. But you don't
like
have
surprises.
to be scared. But it's a surprise whenever they walk into your office, right? So, but that's okay. So, look, some people I've learned, okay, we have a lot of people. I'm sure you've heard of people giving themselves titles.
Okay.
There's so many health coaches out there and all this other kind of stuff. So I hear people refer to themselves as financial advisors as well as financial planners.
Okay.
Is there a difference between financial advisors and financial planners? And if so, what is it?
Yeah, so there is a difference. So there are some people out there who really just sell products. And they might sell a stock, they might sell a mutual fund, they might sell life insurance or an annuity, but then they'll never talk to you ever again. So what as a financial planner does is we show you how to use those products and how that fits into your whole financial plan. Because the only reason you're investing is to get you to your retirement goal. But there's a lot of people out there who say they're financial advisors, but then they sell your product and you never ever hear from them again. So you want to deal with a financial planner who is going to actually show you the game plan of how you can retire and how do you also make that money last you for the rest of your life. And you should have quarterly meetings with that advisor or monthly meetings, but you shouldn't talk to somebody who just wants to sell you one product and then move on to the next person, make their commission, and just go on. So you want that relationship to be strong.
All right, now look, guys, remember what I need you to do. I need you to share and invite. Share and invite. It doesn't cost you anything to share and invite. And remember, if you have any questions, you can call in on 301-429-9247. If you drop a comment on the in the comment chat session, I will thank you, Terrence from Chicago, for sharing. Thank you, Natasha from North Carolina, for sharing. I'll recognize you guys for sharing. So, does that require what type of education, or is there any type of certification or anything that's associated with it?
Sure. You have to take what's called a Series 7 license. That's to be able to sell stocks and mutual funds. There's also a license called the Series 66. And then there's extra accreditations you can get, such as the CFP, which is a Certified Financial Planner. You can get your life insurance license as well, but that's not as deep as a financial advisor would be. So there's a few different certifications, but there's no education requirement. You don't have to have a bachelor's or a master's degree. But you do have to have a passion for finance and a passion for helping people, because I always say that if you're a financial advisor, if you're not doing what's best for the clients, you're not going to be in the industry that long. So that's it. Yep.
You're right about
You're right.
that. It's
You
all
won't get
about
any
the
referrals.
clients.
So.
It's all about the clients. So, I think of people when they talk about they go to counselors and things of that nature. For instance, I might go to a psychiatrist to get counseling on my marriage.
Okay.
Or to stop me from being divorced, but they're not married. Okay. Or they haven't been divorced, but they're giving me information, right?
Okay.
With a financial advisor, what I'd like to know from you is like, what kind of game plan do you have planned for yourself?
Okay, great.
Okay.
So I'm teaching. The reason why a lot of people like me versus regular financial advisors is because most financial advisors do what's called the old retirement. And that means you put money away for a long period of time. And then hopefully, if you're still around, you can finally enjoy it.
Ooh.
So I preach the new retirement, which means you can retire at whatever age you want. You just have to invest in the right amount of residual income vehicles. So vehicles that's going to give you checks while you're sleeping. Then you just got to get your debt down and you're able to retire. But you don't have to put money away for 30, 40 years and then try to live a life when you probably can't even walk anymore. So I'm big on retiring while you're healthy. I make sure all my clients set up what's called travel funds. So we put money away so that they can travel while they're young versus when they're retired. So
that's one of my questions that
Sure.
I wanted to, because I had some people sent me questions in early, early before the show. They sent me some questions. Is it really ever too late to have properly saved for your retirement?
it is. If you do it the old way, which is like putting money in your 401k, or if you work for the government and you're putting money in your TSP, then it can be too late, because you have to accumulate a lot of money to make that money last you for the rest of your life. And right now, people are struggling. People are living paycheck by paycheck right now. But the challenge is, how do you do it when you don't even have a job? People are struggling with jobs. So you got to think of retirement as you're not going to have no job, but you still need that income coming in. So if we do it the new retirement way, then we can invest in a lot of different things. We can invest in properties. We can invest in ATM machines, which I'll talk a little bit about. And that's the way to go. That's the way to go. So
okay, they got in close on you. They came in tight on
They
you. I want to
zoomed
make sure
in?
you were
They
looking
zoomed
at the camera, because
I'm
they
sorry.
zoomed in on you. We have a comment from Miss Julia
Hey,
Callahan Adelman saying, "My hubby keeps saying I'm set when he dies. I like to save now for the near future." Okay, so what, based off of her comment, what constitute a person being set for, if you're looking at being able to support yourself if you lose your spouse, what would make a person actually be set for when their spouse passes away?
a lot of clients who come in, they say, "Oh, I'm good, I'm set, I don't need to work with a financial advisor." And a lot of times that means that they have a pension. And what a pension is that if you work a job for a certain period of time, then you're going to get a check from them for the rest of your life. But if you do not have a pension, then you're not really set, because so many things can happen. You could, not to knock on wood, but people split up. And you may be with your husband or with your wife forever for 20, 30 years. And if something happens and y'all no longer together, you haven't done anything for yourself. So you want to make sure that you do have your own separate retirement plan as well. If your husband does have a pension, then it would go over to you if something were to happen to him. But we just never know. People argue, people fight, and things can happen. So you want to make sure that you're covered as well. So.
So I always say, I take and say, there was a long time ago that I was a member of a church, and the pastor preached for the ladies to close their accounts and turn everything over to a man. And I left that church then. So the same thing there too. Ladies and gentlemen, have your separate accounts. Look, the financial advisor, he even just said the same thing.
Yeah, and husbands want to have that control with regards to finance, and they say, "Oh, don't worry about it, I got it." But you got to take care of yourself. So pensions are going away. It's a lot of uncertainty with Social Security. So a lot of people thinking they're going to get this Social Security in the future. It may not even be here. So you got to really plan for yourself.
Oh, guys, I see y'all. You know what? You know your girl Tasha don't like to be reading books on these comments. If you want to ask a question, you could call in 301-429-9247. Again, it's always on the middle of the screen, 301-4297. We have a question from author Lynette Jules. She
Sure.
says, what about saving in grams, gold, and silver bullion coins in the real is that considered real money?
So I don't have a lot of experience with gold and silver. I know that they're very volatile, which means they can go up, kind of like the Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency. A lot of people got into it and they made a lot of money, and then it came crashing straight down. So I don't have a lot of experience with that. Most of my clients either invest in stocks or mutual funds or bonds, or they invest in a lot of insurance products where no matter what the market does, they won't lose a thing. So, but I don't do too much with the gold and silver.
I'm scared of that Bitcoin stuff.
Yeah, I'm scared of it too.
Give me something for real.
Yep.
We have Derek Terry tuning in. He says, my goal is to retire at 59. So you don't know. I can't even get to my own questions because my people will.
No, that's good. I see it coming.
I see it. Okay.
59.
My goal is to retire at 59 and just work at a job to have some spending cash.
Okay.
I will get a military retirement at 58 and have some funds set aside that I want to invest. What do you suggest as far as a type of investment for me?
Yes. So how old is he now? 58?
Derek, how old are you? He wants to retire at 59.
He wants to retire at 59?
How old are you, Derek? Derek, call in. 301-429-9247. We're on delay.
Here's my recommendation. So the biggest expense you're going to have in retirement, a lot of people don't realize this, but it's taxes. And you're putting money in your 401k, you're getting your pension, you're getting your Social Security.
He's 47.
Oh, he's 47? Okay. So he's getting all this income. He's going to get his retirement. He's going to get his Social Security. He's going to get his 401k or TSP. You're going to pay taxes on all that money. So you want to make sure that you invest in a vehicle that's going to give you tax-free income. So you do that. Either you can open up a Roth IRA, and the difference between a Roth and the regular IRA is the way it's taxed. Because right now, people don't realize it, but tax rates are the lowest that they've ever been. So if taxes go up in the future, you could pay way more in taxes in retirement. So I would recommend investing in a Roth IRA or this plan that's called a LIRP. It's LIRP. And what that is, it's what a lot of NBA players and a lot of high net worth people contribute to, because a 401k won't help an NBA player if you're making millions of dollars. So what a LIRP allows you to do is you can put money away and then you can pull that money out tax free. So it's a way you can structure a life insurance policy to create a tax-free retirement income for you. And if you put enough money in there for the next 12 years, then you can get a pension or a check from the insurance company for the rest of your life. And that will really complement your military pension and also your retirement plan as well. So the plan is called a LIRP, LIRP. And if you want more details on that, I can provide that to you. So.
Okay, so our first person who commented said she appreciates your answer. That was a great answer.
Thank you.
You have another question coming in from Taurus Harding out of North Carolina. He said, just say that I'm self-employed and I got 20 years to save. About how much do I need to put away monthly to be okay?
Okay. So I'm going to use a little calculator just to kind of get an idea. So, all right, how old is he?
Taurus, how old are you?
You got to put the ages on there.
If you guys ask a question, just drop your age today. Drop your age today.
Well, I'm going to give you an example. So what I'm doing in my calculator is, let's say he makes $50,000 a year. So you need that income when you retire. So let's say you retire at...
He's 47 too.
He's 47 too. And when does he want to retire?
He said 20 years.
In 20 years. So he wants to retire at 67. So let's say you stop working at 67, and let's say you live to age 90. So that's 23 years you need that money. So what I do is take 50,000 times 23 years. You need to have $1.1 million in the account to be able to retire, which is hard to do. So what I would recommend you
Especially driving a truck, Taurus.
So what I would recommend doing is making some larger investments. So maybe you invest in a truck, get a trucking company, or maybe you invest in an ATM machine, which I'll really elaborate on, because that's one way you can create an immediate pension just by investing in an ATM machine. But right now with 20 years, it's just hard to kind of put enough money away for that. So.
All right, we have a call.
We have a call? Awesome.
Hanging with your girl Tasha. Who's calling and where are you calling from?
Tasha, this is Derek. Y'all are killing me, but let me go ahead and call from Waldorf.
Hey.
I'm in Waldorf too. That's where I live.
I know, man. I think Tay know who I am. If you see my face, you know who I am.
Okay, what you want to call in there? We done answered your question. You said Tay. Oh, you said Tay know you. That's what you were typing in the chat. He know you know you. You got another question for Tay?
I had a follow-up, only because let me go ahead and call. The follow-up question more okay, and I think you kind of answered it on with the other caller. You know, I'm 47, and I think you mentioned called the LERP, whatever it is.
Yeah, the LERP. Yep.
The LERP. Now, I don't know if I got that type of money, but what I want to do, I actually want to invest in things and invest part of. Well, if you have a business, can you invest a portion of your retirement funds into that business for investment, and then in turn put it back without getting penalized?
So, what type of retirement plan do you currently have? Do you have like a 401k or an IRA?
No, it's the IRA. It's Roth. Yeah.
Okay. So you wouldn't be able to put it back in there. So, for example, let's say you took money out of your Roth IRA. If you do that, you won't have to pay any taxes because you've already paid taxes putting the money in. So if you use that to fund your business, then if your business is profitable, you can only put it back in there if you have earned income, which you would have if you're working. But I wouldn't do that just because you might pay a penalty, a 10% penalty if you're under the age of 59 and a half. So it may not be the best to take it out of your retirement plan to fund the business because you're going to pay taxes and you could potentially pay a penalty.
But even if you put it back, I'm saying I'm not sure if it's still there, but I thought maybe you would have had like 5. I don't know if it's 5 years. As long as I put it back, would I still be penalized if I put it back? I'm just throwing hypothetically. Let's say I invested $12,000, and I did it under my business, and then I put that $12,000 back. I still would get penalized for putting it back.
Yeah, so it's usually a 90-day window to put the money back into it in the IRA. So it's not 5 years. 5 years is when you can touch the Roth without that penalty. But if you take it out, you have 90 days to get it back in there. So it's hard to kind of turn around that amount of cash that fast. So that might not be the best option. But if you do have like a 401k, like I said, you could take a loan off of that and then pay it back over time. But the Roth, I don't think it would work. So.
Okay, so Mr. Derek, thank you for calling in, and Tayvon's information is on the page where you could go to his website. His number is there.
We can meet Derek in person.
You set up that free consultation with him, okay? And tell him that Your Girl Tasha sent you. All right, take care. Okay, so I'm doing this on the screen.
Sure.
Because you have Miss Andre Johnson saying he's a handsome man and he's knowledgeable.
Really?
Okay.
Got me smiling.
So we had another question that came in.
Sure.
They're rolling by so quick, guys. If I miss you, I apologize in advance if I miss your question. That's why you can call in 301-429-9247. Again, share and invite, share and invite, share and invite. How important is it to acquire tangible assets and having it in your own possession? That's from author Lynette Jewell again.
And tangible assets meaning what?
Lynette, that might be a question you might want to come in. He needs to know more information. What exactly do you mean by tangible assets? Now, I think that I got to back up on it. When we were talking about the whole situation, whether or not some people feel that it's too late for them to start saving or start planning.
Sure.
What kind of suggestions do you have for somebody that has just been living paycheck to paycheck and they can't? Matter of fact, I had a question that came in where someone said they would like to invest, but they really don't have that much money. Maybe about $50 to $100 per month.
Okay.
What kind of things can you suggest for them?
Yeah, so you don't need a lot of money to invest. So that's what everybody thinks. You got to have thousands of dollars to invest in stocks, and all you really need is as little as $50 a month, as you mentioned. So my recommendation is that you shouldn't invest in individual stocks like Pepsi or Amazon or Disney because you can lose all your money in one company. But you should invest in what's called a mutual fund. And what a mutual fund is, it's kind of like a basket of stocks. So versus you owning just one company, you own hundreds of companies in one basket. So the way it works is structured similar to like an Easter basket. You know, when you buy an Easter basket, you can't really choose the chocolates and the candies you want. It's already pre-filled. So that's kind of like how the mutual fund is. You can buy a technology basket that might have like Facebook and Google. You can or you can do a beverage one. So mutual fund would be the best way to kind of diversify your assets, and you can do that for as little as $50 a month. And I tell a lot of my clients, even if you are a late starter, some people just don't do anything because they think they got a late start. I'd rather you have some money in retirement than none, but you can't get any money unless you start today. So,
Thank you. We have another call.
sounds good.
Hanging with your girl Tasha. Who do we have and where are you calling from?
Hi, I'm calling from Clinton, Maryland. This is
Clinton.
Julia Edelman again. I wanted to ask Tayvon about old family silver and what to do with those kinds of old family collectibles. Is there any money in that?
To be honest
And
with
how do you unburden your family with like old silver and china and crystal?
To be honest with you, I have not dealt with that. But a client I had one time had some gold coins, and what they had to do, they actually went to a pawn shop just to see what type of value they can get off of them. But I don't know what they're valued at because I don't specialize in silver coins. So I honestly do not know the answer to that question. So I apologize.
Not a problem at all. Thank you.
All right, no problem. Thanks
you,
for calling
Lynette.
in.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Alrighty, awesome. See, they're kind of fast paced when they get the call in. You was worried about this whole hour.
No, it's okay. It's coming. They're engaged. I love
That's right. Now, Tayvon, actually, the other day I was reading that 36% of seniors say their financial situation declined after they retire. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, calls take precedence. I'm gonna stop my question for your call.
The calls are coming in.
Hang with your girl Tasha. Who do we have and where are you calling from?
Hi, Tasha. This is Lynette Jewell calling from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Hi, Lynette. North Carolina in the house.
Hey, by the way, DMV, Southern Maryland. Gotta represent clear.
All right. You have a question for Mr. Tayvon?
My question was, we asked a question about tangible assets.
Okay.
Excuse me. When I talk about tangible assets, I was asking about tangible assets like silver, gold, jewelry.
That's been popular today.
Jewels, precious jewels or artwork, something that people can start collecting. And then also my second question was, what does he know about irrevocable trust and private foundation?
Okay. So with regards to the silver and gold, I talked about that. Like I said, they're very volatile, but one investment that a lot of clients are investing in right now is artwork. So if you are able to get any original paintings, not copies, but if you're able to get any original paintings, I know that they go up in value each year. With regards to irrevocable trust, that will be more of an attorney question, but what an irrevocable trust allows you to do is that you can actually set the rules on your money when you die. So a lot of times when you just have wills, you can give it your money and you can give your assets to somebody and they can do whatever they want with it. But if you have a trust, you can set the rules exactly how you want them to spend that money. So if you have a kid or a grandchild that's not the best with spending, you can set rules and say, hey, you're not touching this money till you go to college. You're not touching this money till you get a job. So you can set rules, but irrevocable means you can't change it. So if you change your mind, there's nothing you can do about it. But if you get a revocable trust, then you can change it. And that will be an estate attorney's job to set that up for you. And no, I don't have much information on private foundations, but I do know that's what a lot of the billionaires use. They actually set foundations for themselves and pay into their own foundation so that they can pull it out tax-free. But yeah, the private foundations I heard are pretty popular around millionaires and billionaires. I just don't have enough information on it for you. So.
All right, one other quick question.
Sure.
When you were saying that about the silver and gold, I know you were saying that it goes with the economy. Would you recommend that when folks start to do, I don't really got into the cryptocurrency,
Okay.
but I do the care bar. Would you recommend that folks start keeping the precious metal like silver and gold in their possession, or would you rather have them to keep it in a bank?
I found that a lot of people who invest in like precious metals like silver and gold are just so worried about the government and economy, and they think the dollar is just going to evaporate and be good no longer. So that's why they keep their gold bars. But I would recommend silver and gold mutual funds. So that allows you to invest in a whole bunch of gold companies. Just as I mentioned with the stocks, you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. So you don't want to invest all your money in one product. So with the gold and silver mutual funds, you can invest in so many different silver companies, gold companies, and it kind of spreads out your risk. But like I said, I don't do a lot with the silver and gold. So.
Okay.
Can I ask you one more quick question?
Girl, we about to send you a bill to North Carolina.
Well, I be coming to see. Well, somebody asked me a question, who owns the Federal Reserve? And I'll hang up and find out what that question is, because somebody keeps asking me that.
Who owns
So
it?
I get on
Do you
that.
know who owns the
Now,
Federal
Happy
Reserve?
New Year. Look good, girl.
All right, thank you. Happy New Year to you. We got a little bit delayed, but you'll hear your answer if he knows the answer.
Yep. Federal Reserve. I gotta look that up. I thought it was a government thing, but okay.
Okay, we're gonna have to research that one. Okay, we're gonna have to research that one. Now back to my question here.
Sure.
Thank you, Rhonda, for I'm glad you're 11 and enjoying the subject matter. Okay, so what I was saying is I read an article that said 36% of the seniors say that their financial situation actually declines after retirement. That's no shocker, right?
Yes.
Of course, they're not working on a fixed income, but the life expenses around them are not fixed. What steps should a person take to avoid being put in that situation?
So I think the situation is going to happen regardless, because let's say you're making 90,000 at your job, but that's because you have an annual income. But when you retire, you're most likely only going to make about 30% of that income. So it's tough. It's tough. You have to really adjust your lifestyle. And what I do with my clients is that the 2 years before they retire, if they're making 100,000, they say, hey, when I retire, I can live off 40. We practice for a year of them living off what they think they can retire on. So you can't change it. So when you retire, all you're going to get is really Social Security. Pensions are going away, as you know. So they're not giving pensions away anymore because people are living way too long. And it used to be that you would retire at 50 and you would die at 60. So therefore, Social Security and pensions actually worked. But now people are living to be 100 years old. These companies can't cut these checks forever. So that's why they're actually getting rid of pensions. And they're talking about the year 2036 is when Social Security is going to dry up. And then because there's more people living off of it than actually funding it. So there are going to be some tax laws and some changes to be able to keep that Social Security good for everybody.
And someone submitted a question asking, well, this is a quicker question. Where
Sure.
is your office, Tayvon?
Uh-huh.
Remember, guys, the website, his website is listed, IamTayJackson.com, but where's your office located?
Yeah, it's in Tyson's Corner, 7925 Jones Branch Avenue. And I have an office also at the National Harbor right by the Tanger Outlets as well on 6710 Oxon Hill Road. And yeah, Virginia or Maryland, I can meet with you.
All right, so my question that I got about Social Security, they wanted
Sure.
to know, is there a way, there's myths that there's a way to somehow maximize it, that's truly when people are taking out their Social Security, they're getting ripped off, but there are certain things that you can do to make sure that the government isn't stealing the money from you to maximize your payout from it. Is that true or false?
It's somewhat true, because a lot of people, they actually are stealing money from themselves because they actually are taking it way too early. So you're supposed to take your Social Security at your full retirement age, which could either be 66 or 67, depending on your birthday. But unfortunately, everybody takes it early at 62 because they have the myth that, hey, I don't know how long I'm going to be here, so I'm going to get the money while it's here. But then you're actually cutting your Social Security down by 25%. So if you wait till your full retirement age, you will get 100% of your benefits. If you take it early at 62, you're only going to get 75% of your benefits. And then if you plan on working and taking Social Security, it's going to be further reduced. But if you wait till your full retirement age, you can make as much income as you want. It would not be reduced. And then every year you wait after 66, it grows by 8%. Up to age 70. So
for those that don't know, what's considered as your full retirement age?
either 66 or 67, depending on your date of birth. So, and then every year you wait after that, it goes up by 8% a year.
Okay,
And then
so
you max it out completely at age 70. But as I mentioned, people don't want to wait till 70 because they don't know if they're going to even be around. So they try to take it as soon as they can get it.
well, what you're saying right now, we don't even know if the money gonna be around.
Exactly. But if you take it at 62 and you work another job in retirement, then it will be further reduced. So make sure if you can hold off to your full retirement age, you should. So.
Okay, and we have Michelle Covington asking,
Hey, Michelle.
what do you think about using apps like Stash, E-Trade, and things of that nature to invest?
I think those are the best ways to invest. You can go through a financial advisor to buy your stocks, but usually when that happens, there's a commission involved. But if you go through like the Robinhood app, which I love, you can actually buy stocks really, really cheap. So the Robinhood app, all you have to do is create an account. You have to link your bank account to it because you have to transfer the funds that you want to buy. But versus you having to call a financial advisor and say, hey, I want to buy this Disney or this Pepsi, you just click a button. My favorite app, though, is what's called the Acorns app. And the way the Acorns apps work is that it actually invests your spare change. So let's say you go to the store and you buy something that's $2.50. What this Acorn app would do is round it right up to $3 and then invest that 50 cents for you. If you buy something and it's $5.99, it'll take that penny and it'll invest that penny. But that grows over time. I did that app for like 3 months, and I looked at it, I had like $700 just for my spare change. So the Robinhood app, the Acorn app, those are both really good platforms. And then also the Stash app is similar to the Acorns app as well. So the apps are the way to go, it looks like.
All right now. Now, some people, when they deal with finances, there's always a recommendation that a person should have a emergency fund.
Okay.
What exactly is considered an emergency fund, and how do you go about establishing it?
Sure. So what an emergency fund is 3 to 6 months of your living expenses. So you'll take your rent, your mortgage, your electric bills, all the bills that are fixed, that doesn't change, and you multiply that by 3 or 6. So if you do 6 months, then that's what you need to have in a separate bank in case of emergencies. Because everybody wants to invest first and then save later. They want their money working for them, but they can't invest because as soon as an emergency happens, they got to sell their investments because they didn't have an emergency fund. So when you're setting something up, I recommend going to a different bank than who you bank with, at a different bank institution. So if you're with Wells Fargo, I recommend going to a local community bank. And once you do that, they're going to ask you 2 questions. They're going to ask you, do you want a debit card? Say no. And then they're also going to ask you if you want online account access, and say no for that as well. Because you don't want to, it's so easy now to transfer funds from one account to another that you can end up spending your emergency fund on stuff that you don't even need. So I recommend having a separate bank, 3 to 6 months worth of your living expenses. And I personally like the bank, I always tell my clients, 45 miles or further away, so that you won't touch it. You have to actually drive for an emergency if you want to tap into that money. That's my recommendation for that. So.
All right now. Now you have a thank you coming to you from Natasha Davenport in North Carolina. She
Natasha.
says, I have Robinhood and haven't used it. I need to look at Acorn. I wasn't knowledgeable on how legit these things were, and she thanks you.
Oh, no problem. You're welcome.
For giving that
You
information.
will have to put in your personal information like your date of birth and social, but you have to do that with any financial institution. So I know people are a little weary about that, but it's legit. So.
All right now. Now remember, continue to share and invite. You can put your comments, your questions in the comments. You can also call in 301-429-9247. Now, how old are you?
How old, is that a question?
Yeah.
That's a question for now. I'm 30. I'm 30 years old. So.
The person thinking you sexy want to know how old you are.
I'm 30 years old. So.
Okay, so then with you being 30, then you know that a lot of today's generation, they don't stay in one job anymore. There's no such thing as going in, like for me, I have 29 years with Verizon. Started with them when they were CMP. So it's that Ma Bell kind of thing. And when I took a job, I looked at that being a career and somewhere that I could retire from. You don't find too many places like that anymore. So with these millennials or the generation today and how they bounce around and stuff like that, unlike me, having a 401k and a pension through Verizon, is it worth them investing? Because I'm telling you, what my mother did, she set me up. Because my mom worked at Verizon, at CMP too. But she told me that the 401k was doing nothing but stealing your money, so don't never put your money into it. So for my first 8 years, I didn't invest in the 401k. Okay. So with these people who are jumping from job to job to job to job, should they invest in these individual plans at the different companies or not? Or what's the benefit or what's the downfall?
Yeah, so we'll talk about, so with my generation, I would say 45 and under, we most likely are not going to get a check in retirement. We most likely won't get Social Security, and we probably won't have a pension, but we have to kind of create our own. So the first thing you should do is check with your employer to see if they do have a 401k. And if you work for the federal government, it's called a TSP. If you work for the healthcare or in the teach or education field, then it's called a 403b. It's all the same thing. Make sure they have a match. And what a match is that if you put a certain amount of money in, they will put that same amount of money in for you. And that's a 100% return on your money that you can't beat. So check to see if they have a match. Put that in first. But you need to at least try to get to about 15% into your 401k. And that sounds like a lot, but it's really not a lot, and I'm going to tell you why. So let's say, for example, if you make $100,000, you're not taking home $100,000. You probably take home $70,000 after taxes. And people don't realize that $100,000, That's gross. And the 70 is what you're bringing home. The money that comes out the 401k is coming out of your gross, not your take home. So since you're giving that money away to Uncle Sam anyway, you might as well pay yourself first and take the money out of gross before they even tax you on it. So the 401k is important, and then also you gotta have multiple streams of income. I have 3 companies that I'm running, and if any company were to really go bad, I know I have a backup plan. So a lot of these millennials need to probably start a business and invest also in residual income assets such as real estate, ATMs, Airbnb. There's an app now called Turo where you can actually rent out your car. So there's so many residual vehicles out there, and I talk about a lot of them in my books as well. So,
Rent out my car.
it's like an Airbnb for your car.
Now, why y'all got a lot of questions flowing here, but why he threw out there his books? Can you tell them a little bit about your books?
I should have brought all of them, but I'm gonna go over each of them. So,
and you know what? And we forgot to mention. I hope that some of y'all been on here. Do you show up for hanging for your girl Tasha on time? Because see, we're gonna be giving away some books today, but you're gonna have a pop quiz. Go ahead.
All right, so I'm going to go over, we have some graphics, but I'm going to go over this one. So this was my first book. It's called 40 Acres and Some Dividends, Recovering from a Broken Promise. So this book is an investing 101 for African Americans. It came off the 40 acres and a mule term because we were all promised, or the slaves were all promised, 40 acres of land and a mule, and that never happened. And that relates to investing because people were promised a pension and Social Security, and it's a chance that it might not happen, and you got to create your own retirement for yourself. So this book actually is in Barnes & Nobles, and you also can get it on my website, IamTayJackson.com. But if you have any questions about stocks, retirement planning, Social Security, life insurance, college savings plans, it's all in this book, and it's only 50 pages, so you can finish it probably in 30, 40 minutes and apply it to your life the next. So that's one book.
All right.
I have another book called Poor Dad, No Dad. Might be on the graphic up there, but it's a spinoff of the Rich Dad, Poor Dad book. So that's one of the most popular books that were ever written, Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Right.
But it's not relatable to everybody because not everybody had a rich dad, you know? So some people didn't have no dad at all. So I actually did a spinoff called Poor Dad, No Dad, which teaches you about life and money and everything else. This book here is called Love and Finance. So how to build wealth in marriage and also in relationships. A lot of people ask me, well, how did you write a book on marriage and you're not married? But I deal with a lot of clients who are married and similar situations. You got one person who comes in with a lot of debt. You have what's called, I call it the whoopsie baby. So you have a baby by accident, and then you got to have to deal with that financial situation.
By accident, guys.
By accident. You have one person who might be the spender and one person that might be the saver. So it just really teaches you about having those financial conversations. I make sure all my clients at least once a month have what's called a financial date night. So what that means is that once a month you're going on an actual date to talk about your finances in a restaurant. So you'll leave the kids at home. You'll ask questions pretty much like, what does a dream retirement look to you? Or do you want your kid to go to public or private school? Or are there any large purchases that you would like to make this month? And that just opens the conversation up because a lot of times there's a lot of secrets about money that goes on in a relationship, and actually financial issues is one of the number one causes for divorce. So being able to openly talk to your partner about money and about wealth, that's very important. And then my last book is called ATM Life. So I was fortunate enough 2 years ago to find an investment that's actually caused me to travel around the world and get a residual check for the rest of my life. ATM machines. And people don't realize that you don't have to be a bank to own an ATM. You can just be a regular person. So ATMs has been a great investment for me. It's created a pension of over $50,000 a year residually, just from a few machines. And yeah, that's it. Those are my books.
All right. So you got Miss Julia saying she loves the title.
Oh, thank you. Mm-hmm.
And your girl Tasha want to tell you finances wasn't the reason for her 20-year marriage that was 10 years too long to end in a divorce. But there was a lot of secrets that was being kept on the other side.
Secret credit cards, secret bank accounts.
And that's why your girl Tasha is more stable. Let me shut up. Lord have mercy. Let me shut up. I ain't going to go into that. because of that. Yes, guys, there are some secrets there. Definitely, definitely, definitely. So let me go back to these. They say they love the idea of the financial date night as well.
Oh, great.
So going back to some questions that scrolled past, Inga Jackson Toy would like to know, can I still make some type of investments today that I could write off on my 2018 taxes to reduce my taxable income?
Great question. Great question. So you can. So you have till April 15th of 2019 to still make contributions to your IRAs for 2018. So if you have a traditional IRA, the most that you can put in each year is $5,500. And if it's December 31st and you haven't maxed it out, you still have till April 15th to fully fund it. So, and that's a IRA is a dollar for dollar write off. So if you make $50,000 and you put $5,000 in your IRA, it looks like you only make $45,000, which is what you want. You don't want to show that you make a lot. You want to show that you make as little as possible.
So I think that you've already answered your question for Ed Jones. He wants to know, do you own your companies or are you working for a larger company?
Yeah, so I work for a company called First Financial Security, and we are a brokerage, which means we can actually partner with a bunch of individual financial and insurance companies. So if I wanted to use Nationwide, if I wanted to use Gerber, if I wanted to use Allianz, if I wanted to use Fidelity, being an independent broker allows us to use all the different companies. So
I love you too, Julia. I love you more. Okay, next question was, where did it go? Where did it go? It's scrolling. It's scrolling. Uh-oh. Somebody, I saw another question. If I didn't read your question, just drop it again so I can scroll back by one more time. With regards to, what is your recommendation on parents who are saving for college for their kids and using the college investment funds and things of that nature? And do they carry over where, like you described with the IRAs, that you can still invest into them?
Sure. So there's 3 plans that people use. One is called the 529 plan. That's the college saving plan a lot of people are talking about. So the way that works, it's a tax-free way to save for college. So if you were to invest in a regular account, and let's say you put $1,000 in, and by the time the kid goes to school, it's $20,000. If you were to sell that investment, you have to pay what's called capital gains. You have to pay taxes on it, that gain. But if it's in a college savings plan and that $1,000 grows to $20,000, it's tax-free if they use it for college. So a lot of people, the 529 plans, you can use it for any school. Some plans are state-specific, but most 529 plans, you can use it for any school. If the kid decides to, or he doesn't want to go to school, you can actually change the beneficiary. You can give it to another kid, or you actually can use it for yourself. If they get a scholarship, then you can actually take that money out that you put into the plan and use it wherever you want to use it. But if you did save up some money into the plan and you spend it on something that's not college, it will be just like you touching your 401k too early, and it'll be a 10% penalty. Also, you can set up what's called a custodial account, which means that you can use it for whatever you want. You invest in the same type of things, but they can use it for whatever they want. So the custodial account, pretty much you're the owner of the account until the child is 21. And then once they turn 21, whether you want them to or not, they become the owner and it's their money. But a lot of people like that one better because it's more flexible than the 529 plan, because not everybody wants to go to college. Some people just want to go right into the business world or start their own business. So you do need to have that flexibility. So.
Okay, going back to the marriage, just a comment.
Sure.
Natasha Davenport wanted to say, money is a big issue in marriages. I'm thankful we make sure it's not. It breaks up a lot of relationships, marriages, and non-marital. So what about, what's your opinion on people who are not married combining their financial things, getting bank accounts together, and stuff of that nature?
Yeah, I think that's a terrible idea. Don't ever do that. So that's all I have to say. That's a terrible idea. Even if you are with somebody for a while, or you're engaged, or just so many things can happen. And if you open up a joint bank account, any person can close that bank account out. So you don't even want to put yourself in that situation. So I wouldn't recommend that. So.
Oh, shucks. Now, I already talked to them about that. They said, hey, we need a show. We need you to get a show on WBGR. We need this type of information on a regular basis, is what they're saying in the comments there. Or he could just come and cameo on Your Girl Tasha every now and then. We could work something out. Thank you, my viewers. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so a lot of people invest in insurance, okay? So when it comes to insurance, what is your opinion on term versus permanent insurance, and is there a difference? Somebody talk about whole life. Is that a difference with something?
So with term insurance, I mean, a lot of times when you see the commercials and they say, hey, you can invest for $5 a month or $10 a month, most of the time that's term insurance. And what term insurance is that you're making a payment to the insurance company that if you die within a certain period of time, then somebody else will get the money. So they usually have 10-year terms, 20-year terms, and 30-year terms. So if I'm 30 and I get a 30-year term, it will cover me to the age of 60. But if you outlive that term, which most people do, then you end up getting nothing at all. So the reason you would get a term policy...
So it's like you throwing away money?
It could, if you don't die, yeah. If you don't die, yeah. So what a lot of people do is that if you have a young child or you just had a baby, then you most likely would get like a 20 or 30-year term just for that peace of mind that if something were to happen to you, then the house can stay afloat, the kid can go to college, and they can still live the lifestyle that they're living. But once the kid is, let's say, 21 or 25, then maybe you don't need it anymore. But you do want to do it while they're young. If you just bought a house, maybe you get a 30-year term for your 30-year mortgage just to protect you, just in case something were to happen, somebody passes away and you go from 2 income to 1. That's the reason why you would get term. Outside of that, I recommend that everybody should have a permanent policy. So a permanent policy, I hate to say it, but that's a lottery that's always going to pay eventually one day. So
he just said everybody about to die.
Everybody's going to die one day. But the permanent policy, a lot of people who work a 9-to-5 job, they think they have insurance, but it's really only term insurance, and it's only covering you really while you're working. If you change jobs, most likely you can't still keep that same insurance plan from Verizon, for example. So you do need to have your own separate permanent policy. So no matter if you get sick, no matter if you change jobs, it'll always be there for you. And the industry has changed so much that now you can actually use insurance while you're living. So before it was like death insurance. Now it's actually life insurance. So if you ever were to get sick, there's a lot of policies out there that will allow you to access the money if you were to get a terminal illness, get cancer, get stroke. So you got to make sure you have an advisor review your insurance policy. And if you did get an insurance policy 5 years or further out, then you're probably paying too much because now people are living a little bit longer. So you may be able to get a better rate if you shop around. So. Now,
coincidentally, with Verizon, ours does carry over even after leaving. We get at least 1 time our salary. If we have more than that, then we have to start paying on it, which is kind of cool. It came in very handy when I lost my mother back in October 2007 to breast cancer, and she had been gone from Verizon for a while, but it came in very handy to have that. So, yes. Okay, now did you talk about the whole life? What is whole life?
So, whole life is a permanent insurance policy, and it's kind of like investing in a CD. So, every time you make a premium payment, a portion of it is going to go towards paying for the life insurance, and another portion is going to go into a bucket, which is called cash value.
Okay.
And that cash value accumulates over time. So what whole life is, it's kind of like getting a bond. You're going to get a set interest rate, such as 2 or 3%, and that money will grow over time. Another one that's very popular right now is what's called an Index Universal Life Policy, or IUL. What that does is that the cash value actually grows with the stock market on the upside, but when the market drops, there's actually no negative returns at all. So if you're more worried about not having a retirement, not having a pension, you actually can use the IUL to grow your money, but then if the market were to tank like it did a couple of weeks ago, you wouldn't lose a thing. So it gives you more growth on the upside. And that's called an IUL.
Okay, so now while you brought that up, and Ed Jones and Julia, I'll come back to your question, guys. Since you brought up the market, a lot of when you're looking at the news and you listen to different financial analysts on the news, they're saying that the dips in the market is nothing to be concerned about, that it's just the market correcting itself. What is your opinion on that?
My opinion is that they're right, and that the way to take the emotion out of those dips is to systematically invest all the time. So if you have a 401k, or let's say you just did $100 a month in a stock, when the market drops, that $100 a month is going to buy you more shares than when the market's up. So I'll give you an example. Let's say we have AT&T or Verizon stock, and let's say the Verizon stock is $30 a share. If we put $100 a month in, how many shares are we going to get? We're going to get 3, 30, 60, 90. But then let's say the market drops, and now Verizon is now $25 a share. Now each month we're getting 4 shares. So the person who actually owns the most shares usually wins the game. So by systematically investing, when the market drops, you buy more of it. When the market's up, you make money. So you benefit both ways. But what a lot of people do is that they make a one-time investment at the wrong time. And then maybe just like the Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency, people got in way too high. And then when the market crashed, they had a bad taste in their mouth. So systematically investing is the way to go. Buying low is the way to go. We do it in every other industry. When it was Christmas, when it was Black Friday, Cyber Monday, we were buying things because they were on sale. But when the stock market goes on sale, we get out of the store. So you want to make sure that when the market drops, that's the best time to invest your money. Do the opposite of what everybody else is doing. So if everybody else is buying, you should be selling. If everybody else is selling, you should be buying, because most people are doing the wrong things anyway. So.
That's a great analogy.
Oh,
Go ahead with your bad self. I like that. Okay, so Julia said, what about universal life? Is it very expensive?
So universal life, so I mentioned the index universal life. So what a universal life policy is that cash value is invested in the stock market, but it can experience the ups and the downs. So you can see positive and negative returns. The index universal life, you'll only see the positive returns, but if the market were to go negative 10, negative 20, negative 50%, you'll just stay exactly where you are. So whole life is actually the most expensive type of policy, but universal life is cheaper because it doesn't have the guarantees that like the whole life does, and the universal life can go up and down. So yeah, so they're probably whole life is more expensive, universal life is cheaper. But universal life is more riskier because it can actually go up and down, and you could lose a lot of your cash value. So,
all right. So you already shared that you have multiple irons in the pot.
Yep.
Working for you.
Okay.
We have one of the viewers has made another suggestion. They're saying that you should write a curriculum for kids on establishing wealth as opposed to getting rich. They don't even teach civics in schools in school anymore. Is that something that you've considered?
I've considered more of a not really a curriculum, but it was. No, I haven't done that. I was working on some children's books for like little kids because I feel like that's the best time to really reach out to them. But I just haven't. It was going to call "Daddy Does Money Grow on Trees." That was going to be the name of my book.
Ooh,
but
why you bring that up?
But I actually haven't finished that up yet. But that's in the pipeline.
Okay, you done brought up a memory about my mama. She used to always say, "Do you think money grow on trees?" I said, "It's paper, so yes, it do." And she slapped me so hard, I ain't never asked that question again. You made me think about it. I felt that go right across my face again.
But yeah, that would be a good idea because he's right. It's not taught in school. Like, we know about Christopher Columbus, about Pluto, about all these things that we've never even seen since we graduated. But writing a check, putting a budget together, investing in stocks is just not taught. But some schools are getting better. They are offering some entrepreneurship classes and some finance classes, but it's not taught enough. So.
They don't even teach cursive writing anymore. So yeah. Now look, of course, as you know, guys, I work in corporate America, but I'm also an entrepreneur. Tayvon's an entrepreneur. So this question is for those entrepreneurs who aren't like me, that have a corporate job where you have a pension, you have a retirement. For those people, what options are available to them? Yeah,
so you don't have to work a 9-to-5 job to have a retirement plan. You can set up a 401k for yourself. If you're self-employed and it's just really you can set up what's called a solo 401k, which is just a 401k for one person. You can set up IRAs, SEP IRAs, that alert plan that I mentioned to you, the LIRP, you can set that up for yourself. So you can still have the same benefits. So don't let you being self-employed pretty much, how can I say it? Don't let you being self-employed stop you from investing. So you definitely can. You got to pay for the health insurance and things like that, but you can set up all these plans just like somebody working a 9-to-5 job can. You just have to talk to a financial advisor or a financial professional that can help you set that up. But it is harder. A lot of business owners, their retirement plan is the business. And they say, hey, one day I am going to sell my business. So my advice to you, if you're thinking that, hey, one day, 20, 30 years from now, you'll sell your business and retire, you do have to make sure that you are not the business. So what I mean by that is that a lot of business owners, if you remove them from the situation, there's no business. So you have to make sure you learn how to delegate tasks to other people. And one of my mentors told me the reason why McDonald's is such a great company is that a 16-year-old kid can step in and McDonald's wouldn't lose a beat because they have really great systems in place. So if you have a business, make sure you have really good systems in place so that if you're no longer there and somebody has to take over your company, they can just read one pamphlet and you won't miss a beat. So that's my recommendation for that.
All right, you have Martina Vitale and Inga Jackson Torrey both saying great information, great job, Tayvon.
Oh, thank you.
They appreciate you. Now, because we're coming down to the end. See how the hour goes almost
that
quick.
was like 15 minutes of that.
Okay. As we said earlier, we have some books that are you gotta pass the pop quiz.
Okay.
So what do they have to do in order to win a book?
Okay, I'm gonna ask a question. And the first person who
first person who calls in, you gotta call in. I am not taking it in the comments.
Oh, they calling in? Okay.
The first person to call in with the correct answer. Control room, get ready. Y'all know y'all got that last time we did that. Y'all couldn't answer the phone quick enough. 301-429-9247. How many books are we're doing?
We're gonna do 3 books today.
Yeah, you got my 2 autographed copies there though. Hold on.
Yep, so we're going to do
Okay.
2 books.
All right.
2 books.
2 books here. Here's the question. You're going to have to call in. Okay, somebody else wants to know more information about the ATM investments too.
Oh, yeah. Can I talk about that really quick?
Sure.
All right, great. So the way the ATM business works is that every time you go to a machine, you got to pay some money to get your money out, which is this is called the surcharge. And if you own that ATM machine or you've used one of mine, every time you swipe that card and pay that $3, it goes right into your bank account each day. So it's all about location. If you know a salon, if you know a barber shop, if you know a nail shop that doesn't like taking credit card tips, they rather take cash, then that would be an ideal location. So if you know any places that need an ATM, please contact me at imtayjackson.com and we can partner together on it. I do have machines available, but we do need locations. I have about 40, 50 of them now. They've actually been really lucrative for me and has allowed me to travel the world and do a lot of things I like. But that's what I talked about before. You want to make sure you have what's called good night money, which means when you're sleeping, you're still making money.
Okay,
so, that's the way
we
to do it.
partner on an ATM machine.
So ATM machine.
How good is your girl Tasha going to be looking?
Oh man, you're gonna look real good.
I'm gonna look real good.
You're gonna look real good. So,
all right,
so
any
any ATM
that.
location that you know of, keep me in mind, and we can figure out how to get the machine in them. So.
All right, now remember the address is on here, guys. imtayjackson.com. So first question, you got to call in here.
Okay.
301-429-9247. Well, y'all know it's a delay. Okay, because it's a delay, I'm gonna let you drop the first person to drop it in the comments. Okay, because the delay you might not get in here quick enough. The first person to drop the correct answer in the comments will get a autographed copy of the book. Now, I'm going to need you to hit up Your Girl Tasha. You could call me if you win on 240-545-5695 is my direct number.
We'll get the address
so I could get your address and information so we could get your book to you. So get your fingers ready. Question number 1, Tayvon,
This is for the book 40 Acres and Some Dividends. It might be a tough question. So when you have a 401k, the age 70 and a half is when you have to start taking money out of your plan. What's the penalty percentage if you do not take that money out by 70 and a half?
He said that earlier. Who got the answer? Drop it. First person.
Yeah. So I'll repeat it again. Once you turn 70 and a half, that's when you have to start taking money out of your retirement plans. And what's the penalty if you don't take the required amount out? That's the first question. What we got?
They not 10%? Was that right?
No,
wrong, Derek. Try again. Next. 50%?
Yep, that's it. 50%.
Martina Vitale.
I'll explain it. So 59 and a half, that's the age that you're actually able to touch your retirement plan without the 10% penalty. But once you turn 70 and a half, if you got old 401ks, IRAs, that's when you have to. And if you don't, there's a 50% penalty on what you should have took out. Next question. So who is this for?
This is Martina Vitale. Uh-huh.
All right, next book is Love and Finance. So what is the latest age that you're able to take your Social Security? The latest age that you can take your Social Security. I got to come up with another question. Let's see.
No, you said you only had 2 books.
I got 2. Okay, that's good.
Okay.
What we got?
Okay. The answer, 25?
No, that's
What?
not.
67?
The oldest that you can be to take your Social Security.
The oldest that you can be to take out your Social Security. 70, 75?
70 is the answer. 70.
Katricia Shaw, you are a winner. Yes. Okay, guys. So there you go, Katricia. I'm going to put in the comments for you to call me. Each one of you call me on 240-545-5695 to give me your information so we can mail your books to you and get your books autographed to you guys. The hour has gone by so quickly. That is another episode of Hanging with Your Girl Tasha. Next week is kind of up in the air, guys. Right now, tentatively, I have scheduled author Mr. Vic Bell is going to be here, and he's going to be sharing a story of his life as in the gay community and changing his life after being romanced by God, okay? But we do have some council members that said they might want to come in and talk about the shutdown, too. And I didn't even get to talk to Tayvon about the shutdown. But one of those topics will be on next week on Hanging with Your Girl Tasha. I appreciate it. I love all of the participation. And what you want to say to the followers, Tayvon?
Sure. So we offer complimentary financial consultations. So if you do not have a financial plan, which you should have, then you can contact me at iamtayjackson.com. That's TAYJackson.com, and we'll do a financial plan for you. When we do our financial plans, we make sure that they're unbreakable. So what that means is we will tell you every single thing that could possibly go wrong to break your plan, and then we plan around that as well. So we factor in a government shutdown. We factor in not having an emergency fund. We factor in you getting a stroke. We factor everything, and we just plan around that so you have an unbreakable plan. And we provide that at no cost at all.
They said they need more time. They need
more
you
time?
back. So maybe Tayvon, I think, guys, we should have him back again.
I got to work on that curriculum.
Okay, definitely. We can have him back. Come second quarter, Your Girl Tasha, I'm actually going to have a live audience, guys, and you're going to be able to come in and share with me. So we'll see you then. A call? Okay, my call, I'm going to pick you up after the show. We got to go. Stay there. We'll be right with you. Love you guys. It's Your Girl Tasha. Bam, being authentically me. Bye-bye.
You spend a total of 3 years of your life on the toilet, with an unavoidable portion of that in a public restroom. Public restrooms are notoriously intimidating, often missing stuff you need the most. And let's not talk about the bacteria and germs, even if the restroom looks clean. Germs spread when you flush the toilet. There's contaminated toilet paper, germy sinks, and blow dryers. It's a jungle of germs in there. But sometimes you really have to go. So you have to do this, and this, and this, and this, and this.